are live, and it's good to be back on a beautiful Wednesday. It's Wednesday the 26th, and it's a great time to be out and about. Look at that sun behind me. It is just great. I know you like it when I stand here and I'm behind this, where you see that glow, and it kind of gives you that effect that, whoo, he's been with God, all that kind of stuff like Moses was. And I was really kind of cool about that. Now, I was kind of just loving the moment before we went on live right now. I welcome all of you, and I thank you so much for being here with me again on this wonderful Wednesday. And I hope you're safe, hope you're feeling well. And as Paul says in most of his epistles, listen, I greet you in the name of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Blessings and salutations, as one of the young people used to say to me from time to time. And it's just a great blessing and salutation to all of you to see you. I thank my God for you, as I do, and I just want God to be blessing you in all that you do. I heard a statement today, and it's not mine, but I wanted to share with you. It said, have you repented today? Wow. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa, have you repented today? Have you asked God, forgive me for everything I've done that's not been right, and God, show me the way, and get my day going. Let me tell you what a breath of release that is, because we all have our moments where we just miss it, and we just do things that we really shouldn't do, and we kind of like need some way to say, oh God, I know you don't like me right now, but would you just forgive me? Would you just let me up? And I open this session right here just saying that to you, because I do like to listen to a few podcasts and other pastors online, and listen to local pastors, and see what's going on, because that kind of intrigues me. It encourages me, and it picks me up to another level. So as I talk to you today, I want to welcome all of you on Facebook, both at my Facebook, Bethel's Facebook, YouTube. Welcome. I want to ask you two questions today, and these questions are really very, very simple, but it's the message that we have now, because over the next 12 weeks after this week, I'm going to be jumping into the 10 Commandments plus 2. And I call it 12 Commandments, but it's the 10 Commandments plus 2. And it's out of Exodus chapter 20. I want to get everybody pumped up and primed, because I believe we're going to have a great time doing that. As you know, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and I'll be preaching this Sunday. My message title is Fall In. So I want us to fall into the things that God has for us, and just be ready for that. So I want to ask you this question. This is what I say. Where did you get your advice from? When you look for stuff, because we all ask questions from here and there, what we need to do. Where do you get your advice from on those things that really need those serious answers? And the second question is, what do you do with that advice? Do you listen to it? Do you just ponder it? Do you just, okay, whatever, I just go away? Are you seriously listening to it? I was kind of looking at that, and as I think about some of the things that are going on in life right now, we've had some wonderful people that are really experiencing some things. One, our remaining final charter member, Miss Eleanor, is going through some tough times right now. And so I would call Eleanor and ask Eleanor, all the history that I know about Bethel Ministry, the church that I'm the CEO, president, pastor, senior pastor of, most of it I got from Eleanor. Eleanor, just a wealth of knowledge, and at 97 years old, she just gave that information to me, and I went to visit her in Missouri, and she sat me down and just gave it to me, just said, here you go, pick my brain while it's pickable, and I'll never forget that. And that advice that she gave me in leading this church still sits with me. So you either listen to that advice and do something with it, or you just listen to it, and sometimes that's okay, but sometimes it's better, if you're going to be creative enough to ask for the advice, listen to it, see what you can take from it, so that you can use it for the betterment of it. That's great for us. And my mother, Miss Rosetta, my mother, she's been my mom for nearly 63 years, and I had a spill this past week, and she had to have surgery, and just out of the blue, and then I said, whoa, wait, and all of us have mothers and fathers that we've had in the days, and most of us would say that at some point, whether not always, that was the voice of reason, the wisdom that came out of mom and dad, giving it to you, and that advice that they gave you on, son, listen to this, daughter, listen to this, that was godly advice. There's a story in the Bible out of Exodus chapter 18, and it deals with a man named Moses. And we all know Moses. Moses parted the Red Sea, delivering his people out of Egypt. You know Moses. Moses, the one who talked with God, who got the Ten Commandments. And since I'm on this Ten Commandments, I was shifting in there, and that was really very in the 18th chapter of Exodus, and really just a great time of Moses sharing with his father-in-law. And, you know, and I love my father-in-law. My father-in-law was excellent. Glenn was just a superb man. I would easily classify him in the same category as I would my father, because he was just that excellent to me. Gave me advice, laughed with me, joked with me, but he was still just that figure that you can get information from. Now today, listen, chapter 18 of Exodus, here's what's happening. Jethro is Moses, that's how you say that, father-in-law. His daughter Zephaniah, he married her. Zechariah, should I say? He married her, and she had a lot of daughters, but Moses chose him. He had a lot of daughters, and Moses chose her, and it was just really great how that worked out. And Jethro was okay with it, and Jethro got really nice with that. Now, Moses had been married to Zechariah for a while, and she and her two sons, they really got things back, and everything was good, and Moses sent him home for a little while, and Jethro was going to bring him back to her. I'm kind of paraphrasing the story for her. So Jethro came with his wife, Zechariah, the sons, and he went to Moses. This is verse 5, and Moses' father-in-law came with them, and just to say, hey, I want to see you. He wanted to see where Moses was, and they told him, Moses, your father-in-law's coming with your wife and your sons. And so Moses went out to meet them. He bowed down and kissed him, and each asked about each other's well-being, and they went into the tent. That's a great verse, and you need to hear this verse. Here's why that verse is great. So they both met his father-in-law. They both went out to meet each other, and he met his father-in-law. He bowed down. He honored him. Listen, it's one thing that we need to do. We just came out of Mother's Day, honor. Father's Day is coming up, honor. He honored him, and he bowed down and kissed him. Today we'd hug him or give him a good hug, and some still kiss. And they each asked, how you doing? What's going on? How's life? What's happening? I miss you. They exchanged these salutations that said how much they enjoyed each other. I thought that was just amazing, just to pick that out. And Moses told his father-in-law all the things that Pharaoh had to give up so that the Israelites could come out of Egypt, and all the hardship they went through, all the pain. And I'm sure Moses was telling Jethro this story with such enthusiasm by saying, look what the Lord has done for us. And then Jethro rejoiced at all the good things that Moses told him. Look where you are. Look what God is doing. This is so great. God has delivered you out of the hands of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, bless the Lord who has delivered you. Bless the Lord. Because Jethro himself was a priest too now. Then Jethro, verse 12, Moses' father-in-law took a burnt offering and offered sacrifices to God. And he said, listen, they all came before just to see what his father was doing. So they even honored his father-in-law. And that was when they came to visit. Now, night came and they kind of chilled out, went around. And in verse 13, on the next day, Moses set to judge the people. And the people stood before Moses from morning till evening. And Jethro got to watch this. He got to see this and see what was going on. And I'm pretty sure he was like, what are you doing? And he said that. Now, listen, this is something else too. Being a father-in-law myself, of two. Listen, I've got to be very careful what I tell my son-in-laws. Because one, I definitely don't want to get into their business or their Kool-Aid, as we say. I don't want to get into what they're going through. I want to make sure that I understand where they are and they understand where I am. And I don't want to be pushing over and going out of my way, getting out of my lane, so to speak. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, Jethro says, what is this thing you're doing for the people? Why do you alone sit and all the people stand before you from morning till evening? That's got to be frustrating on Moses. Imagine what it's like for the people standing there waiting. And Moses' father-in-law said to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to inquire of God. You know, listen, I get that. The called one to Bethel, sometimes that's hard to take because God calling me to lead this place here. And other pastors, you in your house, God called you and placed you in a place where you are the one in authority. And because the people came to for me to inquire of God. And because Moses had been on the mountain and God spoke, and they said, oh, well, he's connected with God. And, listen, the Bible clearly says, study to show yourself approved, that you can rightly divide the word of truth. Not that you got to make the pastor accountable, yeah, but you want to make sure that's what happened. So Jethro was kind of worried about that. And he said to his father-in-law, this thing that you do is not good. If you have a Bible on verse 17, make sure you underline that. This thing that you do is not good. Understand all the things that you do and see if they're in the right focus, if they're in the right place, if they're in the right place, lane that you're supposed to be in. Because here he's telling Moses, you're going to wear yourself out. All these people out there, these people are going to be wore out waiting. And you know me, I just want to say this right here. If I stood in line all day long and I had a complaint and I want to go check with Moses and find out what he thought about it, I'd probably forget it. And I get up there and say, hey man, I forgot. Can we just talk? Just talk a little while since I waited all this time. Can we just talk? Both these people and you're going to wear yourself out. And see, it took a wise man, his father-in-law, he give him some advice. Listen to my voice. I will give you counsel and God will be with you. And he kind of broke it out. This is what you do. Separate the thing. Give it some wise men that you choose, and you pick them out, put them in proper places so that they can help people and separate things. This word is called delegate. Put some things out there and make sure that they too are in the same path as you are, studying God, asking God things. Listen, who are you listening? Who are you getting your advice from? If they're not talking to anyone, if they're not studying, if they're not finding anything, why are you talking to them? I mean, they've got to be someone that really, you can trust what they say. Because what you want to do is to get the advice, use the advice, do the advice, make it all work. So Jethro gives you this thing that and he says in verse 23, if you do this thing and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all this people will also go in their place in peace. Listen, we all want to bring peace. Peace is a great thing to have. So there's no rumbling, no grumbling, and you got people set aside, magistrates and things of certain different levels, handling different types of people. So Moses, this is where do you really listen to what they say? And if you do you do it? So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he said. And Moses chose able men out of Israel, all Israel, and made them heads over people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases, they brought up to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart and went on his way to the land. I want to say this one last thing before I close out on that. Listen, did Jethro come all that way just to give him that morsel of wisdom? Yeah, he brought his wife back, and I'm pretty sure that Moses was excited about that. Yeah, he brought his sons back, and I'm pretty sure Moses was excited about that. He probably was glad to see his father-in-law too. But to get this piece of wisdom, where do you get your advice from? And if you get it from someone that you think is reputable, wise, got you in mind, what do you do with it? I've had this quote that I say, and someone reminded me of it just the other day. If someone says something to you or accuses you of something or says something to you that you really got a question, ask yourself 3 questions. Is there any truth to it? If it is truth to it, what are you going to do about it? And if there's no truth to it, what are you going to do about it? Who are you listening to? Do you really listen to them? And if you do, what do you do with it? Hope that helped you today. Share it with somebody. Share this. Please share this, because I want people to know. I don't want to be so deep and in depth in this few minutes I have with you. I try to make it no more than 15 minutes, but I want to make sure I share something with you, what's on my heart, and I'm pouring out to you. This is Johnny Green, Dr. J, and I'm so excited to be with you today. Let me pray for you. God, in Jesus' name, let us all seek advice, but seek advice from godly counsel, from wisdom that we can take, and we can use godly advice from people who really have our best intentions in mind. And God, when we hear that advice, let us use wisdom as well, because we don't always hear the advice that we need, but we choose who we take the advice from. So God, when that advice comes, let us decide what to do with it and do well with it. God bless you. Have a great, great week. Stay safe out there. I'm looking forward to seeing you back at our church, somewhere in some church. Share this message. God bless you. I thank you in Jesus' name.